Hello, everyone. My name's Todd, and welcome to Millennial Z Alpha Generations, where we share the other side of the creation story with today's youth. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing what I call an audio-visual track. And that track is based off a written track that we hand out on college campuses, high school campuses, paper track, trifold. And the title of the track is called Atheism's 7 Super Lottery Jackpot Miracles. Now, in the audio track, I changed the title a little bit, Mega-Millions Jackpot Miracles, but it's the same thing that I'm trying to get at there. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. Share it with some unbeliever you may know. Share it with some Christian kid who may be in the process of losing their faith in school right now. And if you have any comments you would like to make, pro or con, leave them in the comments section below, and we'll take a look at it and we try to answer them. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Atheism's 7 Mega-Millions Jackpot Miracles. By luck or design. Theists say we owe our existence to a supernatural creator who purposely designed and created everything. Atheists say we owe our existence to a series of naturalistic accidents ultimately originating from non-existence. So are we the product of a miraculous designer or a lucky nothing? A miracle is an event that cannot be explained by natural law and is therefore considered to be the work of a supernatural agent. But atheists say they don't believe in miracles. In practice, however, atheists often endow natural law with miraculous powers to avoid attributing the events of creation to an intelligent designer. Atheism's 7 mega lucky miracle events are: 1. The origin of the universe, 13.8 billion years ago. 2. The origin of the stars, 13.7 billion years ago. 3. The origin of the planets, 4.5 billion years ago. 4. The origin of the first life, 3.8 billion years ago. 5. The origin of human consciousness, 5 million years ago. 6. The origin of modern man, 200,000 years ago. 7. The origin of morality, 200,000 years ago. Starting with number 1, the origin of the universe. Most atheists say nothing created the universe at its beginning. Here are 2 reasons why the atheist's nothing coupled with luck hypothesis cannot be the reason there is something rather than nothing. For an in-depth analysis, see Steve Meyer's book, Return of the God Hypothesis, 3 Scientific Discoveries that Reveal the Mind Behind the Universe. That is a highly recommended book. Very good book. 8. Common sense logic. Incredibly, most atheists believe that our existence ultimately traces back to nothing. That is, something that does not exist. Webster's Dictionary. Richard Dawkins, famous atheist and author of The God Delusion, claims our existence accidentally, quote, evolved out of literally nothing, end quote, at the Big Bang beginning when space, matter, and time itself began to exist. When atheists make such extraordinary claims, they are going supernatural, that is, above and beyond the laws of physics. Please stop here to analyze this logically. If there ever was a state of absolute non-existence, no God, time, matter, energy, space, and thus no laws of physics or quantum fields, we wouldn't exist because non-existence has zero capacity to create, produce, or evolve into anything. Remember, laws have no causal powers. Laws describe how existing physical things interact. So don't be fooled by those sophisticated quantum mechanics lectures where professors start off with something which they wrongly call nothing in order to explain everything. For example, Professor Lawrence Krauss wrote a book entitled A Universe from Nothing. Krauss posited the theory of quantum gravity as the naturalist answer to the question, why is there something rather than nothing? Parentheses. Krauss later admitted in an interview that physicists have no theory of quantum gravity, end of parentheses. Philosopher William Lane Craig skillfully refuted his book. Quote, Krauss doesn't have an inkling of the metaphysical and philosophical issues he is trying to address here. If by nothing Krauss means literally non-being, then physics is impotent to explain how being can originate from non-being. Physics explains the transition from one physical state to another physical state according to the laws of nature operating on the initial state's conditions. But you see, in an absolute origination of being from non-being, there is not as if there is an enduring subject. It's not as though something goes from non-being into being, because in an absolute origination, there is just a beginning or origin of something. There is no enduring subject that once had the properties of non-existence and then has the properties of existence, end of quote. That's from his podcast, A Universe from Nothing. Craig documents the contradictory and misleading ways Krauss defines nothing, reasonablefaith.org. B, the fine-tuning argument. Both sides agree with the scientific data, which informs us that our giant, life-sustaining universe dangles precisely balanced on a microscopic razor's edge that is fine-tuned to the precision of 1 in 10 to the 10 to the 123rd power. For comparison, there are only 10 to the 80th power atoms in the entire universe itself. There are 26 necessary fundamental constants and quantities perfectly woven into the universe at the beginning. Take the gravitational constant as an example. Gravitational collapse or runaway inflation would have rendered our universe lifeless if just a tiny fraction of one atom, 50 quintillion atoms are in a grain of sand, had been added or subtracted at creation. 2, only a supernatural designing genius could have dialed in our universe's necessary life-permitting numbers with such staggering precision. 3, atheistic chance, otherwise known as non-existence, cannot fine-tune one thing. What better explains the finely tuned engineering wonders of our world, like the pyramids, earthquake-proof skyscrapers, jet planes? Lucky non-existence or an intelligent designer? Number 2, the origin of the stars. The next just so story of origins told by atheists is how our life-enabling stars created themselves. Like the Big Bang itself, star formation is presented to the public as a proven fact on TV and in school textbooks. Alternative views are forbidden by academia's anti-scientific cancel culture. But if you dig deeper into the literature, you will find numerous candid quotes such as these from secular evolutionists that tell quite a different story. Quote, the formation of stars is one of the most fundamental problems in astrophysics. No current model can reproduce all of the observations. That's taken from Ward Thompson D. Isolated star formation from cloud to formation to core collapse. Science, January 4th, 2002, volume 295, number 522, pages 76 to 81. Another quote here. Quote, that's 10 to the 22nd power stars all told. The solid embarrassment of modern astrophysics is that we don't know how even a single one of these stars managed to form. There's no lack of ideas, of course. We just can't substantiate a single one of them, end the quote. Martin Harwood, Book Review in Science, March 7th, 1986. The origin of planets, number 3. 9 billion years after the stars accidentally self-created, planets decided to get into the act and self-formed when leftover matter from the Big Bang clumped together into small planetesimals and started smashing into one another. Then, contrary to the laws of physics, these objects grew big enough amid the high-speed destruction for gravity to shape them into large planets. The planet formation narrative is also presented publicly as proven fact in spite of these candid quotes. Quote, once these planetesimals have been formed, further growth of planets may occur through their gravitational accretion into large bodies. Just how this takes place is not understood, end of quote. Martin Harwood, Astrophysical Concepts, page 553. Quote, how the first stage of this process, primary accretion, works is a fundamental unsolved problem of planetary science. Jeff Cousy, Planets, the First Movement, Nature, 448, 1003, August 30th, 2007. Jupiter, end quote. Jupiter is the largest of all the planets, but results in nature now reveal the embarrassing fact that we know next to nothing about how or where it formed, end of quote. Philip Ball, Nature Science, update, November 18th, 1999. For more quotes, watch Spike Sars's YouTube talk, Science or Storytelling. Number 4, the origin of life on Earth. Okay, 1 billion years after the Earth created itself, the first self-replicating cell supposedly self-created in the extremely hostile to life early Earth's atmosphere. But the DNA specified information argument disproves this fanciful naturalistic theory. A, an intelligent mind is necessary to program the sophisticated computer-like code found in the DNA necessary to build the living cells that are more complex than the space shuttle. B, such coded information, more complex than any computer software ever designed by man, couldn't have evolved by a mindless, undirected process, as atheists claim. C, since no materialistic minds existed at life's conception, the cell's programmer must have been a supernatural mind. Our repeated and uniform experience, the scientific method Darwin pioneered, proves complex information is always traced back to a mind. No mind, no complex specified information. Could chance cause the word love to be etched on the sandy beach shore? No, you say, that would require a mind because of its specified information. Erosion by brush-driven waves or lightning strikes for millions of years could not have written it? Agreed. But there is infinitely more specified information found within one cell than found within the word love. Tellingly, biologist Richard Dawkins admits, quote, nobody has any idea how life started, end of quote, on Earth. That is the first self self-replicating molecule. Dawkins' interview with Ben Stein expelled, no intelligence allowed. 5. The origin of consciousness. Chemist Jonathan Safati comments, quote, where does subjective consciousness come from? Dawkins sees this as the biggest puzzle facing biology. Scientists have their ideas, and one of the latest ideas is that consciousness serves as the Wi-Fi network for an assortment of computers inside your brain. Come again? That explains where it comes from? That's taken from The Greatest Hoax on Earth, Refuting Dawkins on Evolution, Creation Book Publishers, page 27. Number 6, the origin of modern man. In 1859, Charles Darwin wrote The Origin of the Species. He claimed by the mechanism of natural selection acting on random mutations, the first self-replicating cell slowly evolved into all today's living creatures, like a single seed becoming a tree with many branches. The first modern humans supposedly evolved 200,000 years ago along one of these branches. Unbelievably, however, Darwin never addressed the ultimate origin of the species in his book. That is, how that so-called first cell, seed, got here. He just wrongly presumed its naturalistic origin to have a foundation upon which to build his naturalistic theory. Why? On atheism, evolutionists cannot propose a plausible mechanism to explain the origin of the complex, specified information necessary to construct the first living cell. For 2 centuries, Darwinists have had no idea how the first cell originated or where the missing link is. Actually, the whole chain is missing. Yet they call evolution a fact, in spite of the lowest levels of the fossil record recording the sudden Cambrian explosion of complex life forms preceded by no simpler forms. This orchid of life, not a tree, confirms God, not chance, planted everything simultaneously. Which brings us to number 7, the origin of morality, good versus evil. Our atheist friends also struggle to understand how objective morality came into existence, since they view humans as willless biological robots. Morality and free will must be illusions, since we are just highly evolved animals. Indeed, how can morality exist in the soulless, dog-eat-dog, Darwinian survival of the fittest world? On this point, evolutionists are often consistent. Richard Dawkins says, there is at bottom no design, no purpose, no evil, and no good. We are machines for propagating DNA. Taken from The Blind Watchmaker, Norton and Company, Incorporated, page 133. Jerry Coyne calls us robots made out of meat. Anthony Cashmore said, we have no more free will than a bowl of sugar. Wrong. We humans are endowed with a soul that teaches basic things like murder, rape, theft, and evil crimes that should be punished. But where did this moral code come from if naturalism, by definition, cannot provide it? Is it from above? It's either intentional design or lucky accidents. The odds against all 7 events of creation being accidental are astronomical. They are infinitely more remote than the sane individual winning, say, the 700 million lottery jackpot 7 times in a row. Yet even the lottery analogy fails to truly represent the extreme explanatory powerlessness of the atheist naturalistic origins hypotheses. Because intelligent minds design the lottery, there's a 100% chance some lucky person will win. But what are the odds of winning the jackpot if people and the lottery didn't exist? 0. What are the odds of atheistic non-existence hitting the miracles of creation jackpot one time, let alone the necessary Mega-7? 0. It is true that naturalism and supernaturalism are equally unscientific in the sense neither side can replicate something coming from non-existence in a lab experiment. But we exist. If naturalism can't explain how we got here, the cause must be supernatural, that is, outside nature itself. The explanation can't be something within the material universe because everything within it had a beginning, including the highly evolved aliens proposed by panspermists. Parentheses, to avoid the beginning argument, a minority of atheists unscientifically endow the universe with the godlike quality of being past eternal. That, by deduction, leaves us with a supernatural intellect as the answer. So why is the naturalist trinity of non-existence, chance, evolution even on the table as a viable answer to the fundamental question, why is there something rather than nothing? Could anti-God ideology be driving the atheist's high-stakes gamble? The evidence points towards God being the uncaused cause of the universe. Disagree? Provide one argument pointing towards non-existence being the ultimate source of our existence. Yours truly, Todd Weiner. Visit ChristianProofs.net for friendly atheist versus theist debates, historical proofs of Christ's life and resurrection. Call text 484-400-4816 for life counseling connections. Asterisk. Most atheists and theists agreed that the universe had a beginning ex nihilo, that is, out of literally nothing. Why? Because the second law of thermodynamics states that the useful, life-giving energy of our universe is running down like a battery, slowly going dead. If the universe was past eternal, as a minority of scientists argue, we wouldn't be alive, as our universe would have suffered heat death trillions of years ago. Atheist Alexander Vlinkin, a multiverse advocate, an atheist too, I believe, states, quote, all the evidence says that the universe had a beginning, end of quote. The Board, Guth, and Vlinkin theorem states, quote, with the proof now in place, cosmologists can no longer hide behind the possibility of a past eternal universe. Alexander Vlinkin, Many Worlds in One, The Search for the Other Universe, Hill and Wang, 2006, page 176. If you wish to partner with our mission, here are 2 ways you can do so. Share the links to these audio tracks with Christian and secular school-age kids to immunize them from atheistic cancel culture indoctrination. 70% of our Christian youth reject Christ by the time they leave secular college. And that's a shocking statistic, by the way. Don't assume that because they go to church, they will be okay. And bear in mind that secular kids also overwhelmingly reject their natural predisposition towards theism during their college years. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and pass on our link to others. And if you want paper copies of my narrated tracks for mass distribution, email me at christianproofs@yahoo.com or go to my website christianproofs.net to download the text or link of the following 2 tracks. 1, the scientific and historical evidence for God and Christ is awesome. 2, the real Christ, myth, or Savior. Or go to christianproofs.net to print out a tri-fold paper copy that you can fold and share with others. Here are the tri-fold tracts.